Hello, Book 2. I did it on Tuesday and I'm doing it on Thursday. Welcome to Triple Tag Thursday. I have 3 tags to do today because this past week has been pretty filled with very interesting tags I want to do. And I think there are a few more tags I want to do that I need to work on for tomorrow. So I will have a tag on, or 2 tag videos on Friday too, in addition to weekly reads. So before I get to the first tag that I'm going to be doing this Thursday, which is going to be the JFK tag, it was created by Very Literary Carrie, which I'll leave a link to her video down below. So before I begin, I would like you to comment on the lighting quality of this video. I know Deborah Johnson mentioned in one of my tag videos on Tuesday that it was a little dark. So let me know how this looks, and I will try to, through this video and the other 2 tag videos I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to try to finagle with the lighting to see how it works, to see if I can brighten it up. And if not, then I will try to go into the program and see if I can lighten it up that way. And hopefully we can lighten things up. So I don't know if it's like the position of the lighting, which is basically in the center of the room, or what. So we'll figure it out. So let's get on with the tag. Question number 1. Tenuvus and one more. Rose and Joe Sr. had a boat called Tenuvus to signify the 10 members of the Kennedy clan. With the birth of Ted, the family named another boat One More. What book with a large cast of characters would you recommend? For this, I'm going to go with The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Jin Yong. It is a massive, epic Chinese historical fantasy novel that takes place during the waning years and decades of the Southern Song dynasty and the collapse of the Northern Jin dynasty during the conquest of Genghis Khan. It's the story of Guo Jing, who is the son of a Chinese patriot who, due to circumstances, finds himself being raised in Mongolia as a sort of foster son of Genghis Khan. Guo Jing eventually travels back to his homeland to engage in a bit of martial competition. His 7-6 martial teachers made a bet with a Taoist that Guo Jing could beat his prenatal sworn brother Yang Kang, who would be taught by the Taoists. So he travels and he goes on a number of adventures, meeting a number of the most renowned, the most powerful martial artists of this period, learning from many of them, and eventually becoming a great martial artist himself. It is an amazing novel and has loads and loads of characters. PT 109. This is the second question. What is your favorite book featuring a harrowing survival, rescue, or war story? For this, I'm going to go with The Franco-Prussian War by Geoffrey Warrow. It's a history of the Franco-Prussian War, and it is one of my favorite history books, one of my favorite war books of all time. I first bought it when I was a member of the History Book Club back in the early aughts, and read it and loved it, and I had gotten rid of it, but with my renewed interest in history, my little history shelf over here, I reacquired it and reread it and loved it all over again last year. I definitely highly recommend it. Question number 3. Addison's disease. What is your favorite book that deals with disease or the medical field? This one was a bit difficult. Because I haven't really read much in the way of medical nonfiction or fiction. But thinking back about Michel Foucault, he did write a book called Madness and Civilization, which I think would fit this prompt. But it has been a decade plus since I've read it, so I don't really remember enough to really comment on it, except that I remember liking it quite a bit. Question number 4, Camelot. What real or imagined dynasty would you like to read more about? For this prompt, I'm going to go with the Hohenzollern and Habsburg dynasties. Hohenzollerns were the reigning dynasty in Prussia and later the German Empire, and the Habsburgs were the reigning dynasty in Austria, who long dominated the Holy Roman Empire and eventually the Empire of Austria-Hungary. And I've got 2 books on the Habsburgs that I'm looking forward to reading, and I do need to pick up look for some Hohenzollern history too. Question number 5. High Hopes. Frank Sinatra re-recorded this song for Kennedy's 1960 presidential campaign. If you ran for office, what would your campaign song be? For this one, I'm kind of tempted to go with Princess of the Universe by Queen. But then it's like, maybe that's not the most appropriate song for a politician. Maybe Only Love by Nana Mouskouri. Yeah, I don't think most of the songs I really like aren't really campaign material. Anyway, question number 6. We choose to go to the moon. Name the last book you read that was set in space. Now, this prompt gave me a lot of problems because a book set in space means that it is set literally in the vacuum of space, not that part of it takes place on a planet, whether it's Earth or some made-up planet. So, given that it would have to be on like a spaceship or a space station or something like that rather than a planetary setting, I had a lot of trouble. I was thinking of going with maybe a science book that I'd read ages ago, but then I'm like, that really doesn't count. So then I'm like, racking my brain, and I eventually just said, Called Empire by Arcady Martin. That works just as well. I mean, while most of the novel takes place on a planetary surface, there are parts that do take place on a space station and in a spaceship. So, yeah, I'll go with it. It works just as well. So, A Memory Called Empire is the story of Mahid Zamer, who is a newly appointed ambassador from a space station-based civilization to the Teixcalonli Empire. And one of her duties is to figure out what happened to her predecessor as ambassador. And in that investigation, she pretty much gets drawn into the very highest levels of Teixcalonli politics, to the point where her decisions will determine who exactly sits on the imperial throne. It's really good book. I liked it for the most part, so yeah. Question number 7. Coconut. The coconut shell JFK carved a rescue message on during the PT-109 incident was encased in plastic and used as a paperweight in the Oval Office. Do you have any neat desk items or mementos? No. On my desk, I have a few random pennies, nail clippers, a flashlight, my phone, some notebooks, my computer, and my writing books and my art books. So nothing much in the way of mementos or anything very interesting. Question number 8. Scandal. What personal or political scandal would you like to read more about? I would like to read more about Iran-Contra. So I'd actually forgotten about this prompt, or not this prompt, this tag, until yesterday when Steve Donahue filmed his version. And I'd been meaning to do this prompt, or this tag, I'm sorry. And so I'd written out some of my responses. And this question was one of the ones that gave me quite a bit of difficulty. And then I remembered back to when I was in college, and I was doing a project for some class, and I read a book on Iran-Contra for that class. And I'm like, that was really very fascinating, and I'm like, I would like to have that book back, or not back because I checked it out from the library, so I would like to try to find it, or another history on Iran-Contra. So I think Iran-Contra would be very interesting. Excuse me. Question number 9. Peace Corps. What book made you a better person? I don't think books necessarily make you a better person. I mean, they can sort of open your eyes or expose you to subjects, themes, characters, histories, whatever, that really you never thought of, or it had never crossed your mind, or what have you. But I don't think books necessarily make one a better person. But I think to fulfill this prompt, I would probably go with the 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi, which really opened my eyes on this history. And it is, I think, one of maybe the best books on it. But, I mean, I need to read more about the subject in the history. But definitely, I think 100 Years' War on Palestine would fit this prompt. Number 10. Conspiracy. What are your thoughts on the Kennedy assassination? I think ultimately the Warren Commission got it almost completely right. I don't think there's any extra weird stuff that went down, but I'm not as interested in this sort of subject as others might be. So, I'll leave it there. So if you would like to do this tag and you haven't done this tag, you're tagged. And again, let me know about the lighting quality. It looks rather dark from me looking at the filming. So let me know, and I will try to work on this in the next 2. The next tag is going to be the Love Island tag created by Katie Books. So until then, BookTube, thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.